The San Antonio Spurs have quickly gone from rebuild to contender in the West thanks to having two back-to-back Rookie of the Years in Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle, and then going out to get All-Star guard De'Aaron Fox last season. Now, this offseason has found them back in trade rumors, but this time they have their eyes on former MVP and two-time champion Kevin Durant. Durant has requested a trade out of Phoenix after a very underwhelming 3 seasons, to say the least. The Spurs have become the clear favorite to land KD, and with the draft capital they hold, having the 2nd and 14th pick, while also having some expendable young players on this roster they can trade, it looks like the Spurs are going all in to try to build a super team and contend in the West. Let's take a look at what a possible trade for Durant would look like and what the future of the Spurs could be with Kevin Durant on this roster. So Kevin Durant has been in trade rumors for months now. Ever since the Suns failed to make the playoffs this season, and they have no real direction going forward as they're paying Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal all max contracts, and the rest of this team is filled with some not great players overall, to say the least. I mean, this team didn't even make the playoffs. Bradley Beal didn't even play, pretty much. He was just sitting on the bench for most of the season, or when he did play, not doing very well either. And Devin Booker, was putting up his 27 a night or 28, but this team really has no direction going forward, and Kevin Durant saw that, and knowing that he only has a few years left, decided that he was going to leave. And the Spurs seem like the best team to go and pick up the aging star. And as the months have progressed as well, we've heard reports that the Suns have actually lowered their asking price because no one offered anything at first that the Suns really found interesting. I mean, Kevin Durant could have been traded or at least agreed to a trade before this, but nothing really materialized. And it seems like now, because teams have been waiting so long, Kevin Durant's asking price has gone down a lot. Now, the Spurs are the team that has pretty much the best assets to give up to get him, in my opinion. They have the 2nd pick, and they have the 14th pick. They also have other guys on this roster, like I said before, that they can get rid of and still be able to contend next year, right? I mean, you went out, you got De'Aaron Fox, right? Stephon Castle's still there. Victor Wembanyama is still there. They still have other solid players on this team that they can go and trade, right? When we're looking at guys that they could get rid of on this roster, guys, Harrison Barnes, a little bit older, they could get rid of him. Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, both younger guys as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if those 3, maybe with the 14th pick, are what the Spurs give up. I don't think they have to get rid of the 2nd pick, right? I think if you're the Suns, you would be pretty happy getting the 14th pick and those players. Because at this point, Kevin Durant is an old superstar. I still think he's a superstar in the league. I mean, he's still putting up almost 30 points per night when he wants to. But playing with that Suns team, it was hard for him to get shots up sometimes because Devin Booker, was putting up 30 shots per game, it seemed like, and Bradley Beal would just stink up the floor. But now with him potentially going to the Spurs, I mean, when we look at this team, he could be the 3rd option for this team. He could be the 2nd option, above De'Aaron Fox, but still, behind Victor Wembanyama, he doesn't have to be the best player on this team, and he can go out there, and I think if they get Kevin Durant and keep these guys, right, if they only have to get rid of Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Harrison Barnes, and maybe the 14th pick, even if they don't have to give up the 14th pick, which I still think they will, they still have the 2nd overall pick in this year's draft. And they still are going to keep Stephon Castle. They're still going to keep De'Aaron Fox, right? So this team, I think, is going to quickly go from a team that Victor Wembanyama was on and look like a team that could go out and make a move about a year and a half ago to actually going out and making both of those moves, right? Going out and getting De'Aaron Fox, an all-star level guard, going out and getting a future Hall of Famer in Kevin Durant. And I think Kevin Durant and this team can 100% compete going forward. And like I said, they're also not giving up the 2nd pick. So you're going out there and getting a guy in Dylan Harper, who is going to be backlogged a little bit because of this guard rotation that they're going to have in De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. That's the only thing that you could really look at and say, oh, well, maybe the De'Aaron Fox trade wasn't the best trade in the first place. I still think it is. I still think it's a fantastic trade, and if you're going to have a problem with getting a guy in Dylan Harper who may have to come off the bench and be whatever, the 6th or 7th man in his rookie season, that's a pretty good problem to have, because Stephon Castle just won Rookie of the Year. He's a young guy who's not going to be making that much going forward, still being on his rookie contract. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama still on his rookie contract as well, and this team is playing perfect. They're going out and making all the moves that you want to see if you're a Spurs fan, and they have done this 100% the right way if they go out and get Kevin Durant, because they were also looking at Giannis. I think Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee, but now if you're zoning in on Kevin Durant, right, I think this is a fantastic trade for them, because yes, you may have to go out and get some depth after this if you trade guys like Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan. Guys, all three of those guys started for them last year. You are getting a good guy in Kevin Durant back, though. But I think they have some pretty underrated pieces on this team. I mean, Julian Champagnie was putting up almost 10 points per game last season. I think he's a very solid piece for them. Yes, he's not going to be the greatest player of all time, but I think he's a very solid bench piece for them. Keldon Johnson put it up 12.7 last year, shooting 48% from the field. I mean, I still think they're going to have some good solid pieces. Obviously, getting a guy back in Dylan Harper, and this rotation, I think, is going to be crazy. If you can keep De'Aaron Fox, I wouldn't even be surprised if Dylan Harper starts playing very well. If they get rid of De'Aaron Fox in, I mean, who knows, maybe this season at the All-Star break, I wouldn't be surprised in that. But this team has quickly gone from being a rebuild, and for what, maybe a season or two, they got the number 1 pick in the lottery. They won the lottery. They got Victor Wembanyama. They won probably the most hyped up lottery in a long time, getting a guy in Victor Wembanyama who has shown that he can be an all-NBA, all defensive level player last season when he is healthy. Getting a freak injury this year, I mean, something that you never thought would happen, but if he can come back from that and play great this next season with the guys around him, he put up 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, 3.7 assists, I mean, 3.8 blocks. That's just insane. He's averaging 3.7 blocks in his career over 117 games. That is insane. Now getting a guy in Kevin Durant who has championship experience, I wouldn't be surprised if this team is one of the favorites to win the finals next season. Yes, this team is going to be very, very good if they can put De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, and I don't even care. You can throw anyone out at the 4 or the 3 at that point, because the rest of that team is just crazy to look at. But let me know down below, do you think Kevin Durant going to the Spurs would be a good move for him going forward in his final 2, 3, 4 years, maybe? Or do you think he should try to go somewhere else, like maybe Minnesota? And do you think the Spurs would be a serious contender next year if they get Kevin Durant? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.